Hello and welcome to another episode in a nutshell, Cyrils Brettspiele. My name is Nils and today we are talking about Dungeon Busters from Mayday games. Yeah, Dungeon Busters is brand new on the market, I would say brand new. I think it's not out right now when I'm filming that, however when I publish that it's probably on the market. And it's a small tiny little card game. Why can I tell you about my personal experience with the game, even if it's before on the market? First of all, I got a pre-copy, and second of all, and that's more important, I played that game back in March this year in Las Vegas during a trade show, and later on to that one. First of all, what's in the box? You have monsters, dungeon level monster 1, 2 and 3. You have 3 to 5 players. Colors is pink or purple, red, yellow, blue and green. You have one of these cards where you put treasure on it, one gigantic starting player token, and you have crystals or gems. So, however, this is plastic gems. That is an expansion. This expansion here comes into a plastic box. Nice looking plastic gems for an additional $9, I guess. The base game is $20. And you can have another edition. That is a power pack. 5 new cards with abilities for each player. These cards are replacing the number 2 here in the game for each single player. So whenever you have this number 2 here and you play with this expansion, take the number 2 out and put this number 2 into it. That's how this works. However, let's talk about the base game first. What are you doing is, if you play it with 3 players, you take the number 1 out from each player. If you're playing this game with 4 or 5 players, take the 7 out. So you are always playing with 6 cards. And each player has exactly the same 6 cards. So that's what you are doing. You are playing this game with 6 cards. That would be a setup for 5 players. You have the diamonds and gems in here. You have the monsters here. You have your spoils here. Each player has one of each single one and 6 cards. And remember, each player has exactly the cards from 1 to 6. I shuffled them a little bit. So not really good one, but I shuffled them so that I can try to demo you a game. So first of all, you have 5 cards of each single dungeon. The first part you're taking is taking 1 card and put it out of the game. So you never know exactly how much you know exactly how many monsters you're facing. That's 4, but you don't know which exactly monsters you're facing. It's common knowledge what monsters are in there, but not what is out of the game. So the expedition leader, and that is the starting player, that's the only thing he is doing is flipping that card over. What does this card say? Red slime, 5 health points. Now everybody, and this one is also interesting, so the first guy gets a blue, a red and a yellow, but I explain that in a second. Right now each player is taking a card, not randomly what I'm doing here. He is doing that very, very wisely. I take the 1 here. I have no idea what the others are taking, but I'm taking the 1. I explain it in a minute. All at the same time, simultaneously, and now you're flipping over the cards. What can happen? First of all equal numbers canceling each other. So this on this card would be flipped over because it's canceled it out, and this as well. Just for fighting purposes, just to let you know, don't throw it away, just for fighting purposes. However, we have 5 attack value left. This guy has 5 as a defense, and now all remaining players, so again these cancel each other out, all the remaining players will get the loot. And starting with the person who has the lowest value, and you see there is a benefit of playing a low card, get the loot in here first. So in this case you get this crystals here to this player. But let's assume he played a different number. Let's say, for an example, he played a 2. Again, he is the only player because the other ones have 2 4s. A 4, a 4, a 1, and a 1, and cancel each other out. He played a 2. Now we did not defeat the monster, because we have only a fighting strength of 2 against 5 and we are losing. And now all the players with the lowest number, including the person who cancelled each other out, has to pay crystals to the spoil. So in this case, starting with the number 1, he has to pay. What does he have to pay? He must always pay the most diamonds from, or gems from, the from one color. In this case, he has 2 yellow diamonds, or gems, so he has to pay the yellow ones. He's not allowed to take this one. If there's a tie, he can choose either yellow or blue. Then the next lowest person who tied has to do the same. He is safe and they are safe too. Only the number 1 in this case have to pay. If he would play a 2, they would cancel each other out as well, and both of them has to only he has to pay, because he has only the one. Both of them are safe. Only the person with the lowest number, or if there's a tie, the persons with the lowest number have to pay into the spoil. That is when you're not defeating them. Again, if you defeat the monster, like in this case, that would be the best case scenario for this guy. They are cancelled out, they are cancelled out. He would get the treasures from here. I explained it. It's 1 each. And then he will get this one as well. These, as cancelled out, they are totally ignored in the treasure game, and he will take all of them. Let's assume it's not like this. Let's assume he is not cancelled out. He played a 2, so 1, 2, 5, 4, and 4. They still winning. They cancel each other out. They are still ignored. He has a 5, he has a 2, and he has a 1. So first of all, the number 1, the lowest, get the loot, the complete loot from the monster. It's here, all of them. Then starting with the lowest, he can take one of these diamonds out. He's taking that. Then number 2 can take one out. Then number 5 can take one out. And then number 1 again. And it goes on and on. Some of these monsters here have loot for the lowest and the second lowest. Some of them for the lowest, second, and third lowest creature. At the end of the game, you simply get points for your gems. So in this case, each gem is first of all worth 1 point. So in this case, it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points. Then for each set, additional 3, so 10, 13 points. And let's assume these are the most yellow gems. Then he will get an additional 3 points. So therefore, he has 6 points for set collection, 7 for total, it's 13, plus additional 3, it's 16 points. That would be the final scoring. If there's a tie, like in this case for the most yellows, then simply no one will get the points for that. One last thing for the rules is, and that is really important, let's assume we defeated that monster here. These cards are now staying out of the game, out of the first round. We are flipping over the next monster. It has only 4. So now you are down to 5 cards. Let's assume we are doing this, whatever here, blah, blah, blah. So each player played a card, we defeated it or not. The next one here, so on. So each player played a card, like this. And then the fourth and last monster in this row has a number 14 in it. Remember, if you're not defeating the monster, you have to pay a lot of your gems back into the pool. So now it comes to a meaningful decision. You know exactly your opponents have these cards out. So you can make a little bit of math. What are the other player will play? So you know exactly the 6, 6, 6 is out here. They both have the 6 and we need a high number. So first of all, first layer of this game is you know these cards out. By the way, when you play the fourth monster and you go into the next dungeon, level 2, you get all your cards back. Second of all, it's a negotiation game. Now it starts to, everybody is saying, hey, I am playing the 6 to defeat the monster and help out, but please, one have to give me a diamond for it. Everything is allowed in this game. Negotiation, whatever, but you are never bounded to your decision. So you can easily play, say, oh, well, I have tons of games. I'm really interested in that. Someone is playing a 6. I will give you a 1 red if you play the 6, and he was probably playing the 6. He is listening the red player and probably cheat or not cheat, I don't know. He's probably offering him another game as well if he's not playing the 6. They are not interested in the 6s. So, and then he's playing the 1 to make sure he is getting first the loot, and the loot is 2 red ones, so he's giving up his loot, but he is taking the first shot. And make sure the other ones are playing. However, again, there's no bounding on your decisions you're making, no boundings on your promises you're making, and this is, in this part of the game, it's really a backstabbing game. I explained it a little bit too much for my gut feeling. In a nutshell, let's go over to my personal experiences then, because this is a really important thing on that. Again, I played this at the Gamma Trade Show in Las Vegas for the first time ever this March, and it was very late that evening. So I walked around the room and saw a couple of groups playing games, and again, it was late. I worked the whole day, so I was a little bit exhausted, and some of them played these heavier games, and I thought, well, that's probably a little bit too much. And there was one table, everybody was laughing. And I approached to that table, and friends of mine sat around the table. I sat down, just talked, and what are you playing? I thought, I've never seen that game before. And it was Dungeon Busters. So, and then Ryan, one of my friends, told me, hey, sit down, play it. And he explained me the games in 2 minutes, the rules in 2 minutes. So it was so easy, it was so intuitive to play it. And I started playing this game. And I made a friendship with Daniel right next to me. And Daniel and I, we talked about some stuff. And he said something of diamonds and gems. And I said, well, diamonds are the girl's best friend, honey. And we start role-playing so that I'm the wife and he is the guy who wanted to feed me with diamonds and offered me diamonds all the way. And I said, well, I like rubies too, honey. Can I get some rubies? So we played the game a little bit like a role-playing game. I was a female part, he was a male part, and he fed me with some games. And honestly, it was a blast. We played the game 2, 3, 4 times in a row, and and everybody was looking, what are these guys doing? Why are they playing well together? So good. And then the other players jumped in and said, well, I have some diamonds for you too, honey. I said, well, why not? Let's try it. And it was such a great experience. 5 guys sitting around the table playing, role-playing, like one is female, not the other one. And just with such a simple game, it was really, really such a good experience. However, when I got this game, I tried to copycat that experience, and maybe you have had the same experience in your personal life before, when you always have a gigantic cool experience and try to copycat that and redo it again. It never works. It never works. It's always timing, situation wise, and all of that together. But it's still a really good game. For me, it's always the first round when you flip over the first monster. That's lame. That's boring. You're playing more or less randomly 1 out of 6 cards. I mean, if it's a low monster like this, a 5, or here 4, you're playing probably a low number. But if it's a high value monster like a 14, you're playing a medium. So that's a strategy. Is there a strategy? No, there's not. It depends on the number of players. Why not playing the 1 to get 2 diamonds here from that, 2 rubies, instead of just 1 yellow or blue? But it also determines what colors do you have, because you wanted to have a set collection and you don't want it to give up. Let's assume this is my whole pot here. Then I'm 100% sure on fire. I don't want to give up my 6 red rubies. I'm probably fine if I'm the second lowest and get a yellow one. Even the blue is okayish, but never give up that. So probably I will put a 5 or a 6. What are the others doing? So all of that is so cool. It's for such a blind bidding simple game. I mean, the rules are so simple and it's a blind bidding game. It has such a meaningful decision. And on top of that, as a layer on top, as cream on top, they put this negotiation thing on top of it. And it's highly, highly recommended to talk a lot of during the game. Anyway, I think I said everything you have to know about Dungeon Busters from Mayday Games. I can say for a sweet little filler game, I had a blast with this game a lot of times. I played it roughly 10-15 times so far. That's a lot for a game like this, and again, MSRP is I guess 20 or something like that. Playing a game 10 times for 20 is $2 per game. I mean, what is that? If you wanted to have a little bit flavor, consider to buying the gemstones. You don't have to, it's just more flavor. It comes with cardboard tokens in it, so you don't need that, but this gives you a lot of more flavor. Yeah, that was another Cyrils Brettspiele in a nutshell edition. My name is Nils and I will see you next time. Have a nice gaming night tonight and play more games. See you next time. Bye bye.